everyone, and welcome to another Arknights Endfield video. Today's video, I think, is mostly going to feature the newest Umbra Monument set of stages for the newest one. I guess it's called Beastly How, at least for the events. The actual one itself might be something different. We're gonna probably touch the Mega Arena. I've kind of already talked about the event as is, but at this point, most of the videos that I've recorded at this point are not even up on YouTube yet, just because I've been focusing on so many other different things that I didn't really focus too much on the YouTube side of stuff, which is what something that's like I'm not surprised happened. I kind of foreshadowed that is always a possibility when it comes to Arknights and Arknights Endfield. It happens. Like I said, it's like a roller coaster. Sometimes I'm not going to be as motivated as I am, and then sometimes I'm extremely motivated. But anyway, there's so much to mention. First of all, I think I missed out on the survey for Arknights for the recent, technically New Year's, but it's not New Year's, so Chinese event. I went over my head. I think I saw it, but then I just kind of put it in the back of my mind, and then it just went on to do other stuff and completely forgot about it. So there's that I missed out on. That would have been a video, but as I said, I've been focusing on other stuff. PC is coming out next week for Arknights. Most people are saying, I can finally stop playing on the emulator for Google Play Games. And I'm like, are y'all stupid? Why are you using Google Play Games? No, seriously. That's like the worst one to go for. Fun facts, I first tried it out with Arknights, and my experience was dog shit. Worse than any other emulator I've used before. And at that live stream, I specifically mentioned that this is not suitable for most of these emulation of games for this emulator, because it was honestly just shoveled together and pushed out. It was in beta, of course, but to me, I'm like, this doesn't really seem like it was made to work with most mobile games. Probably a select few, probably on the lower end. And just from my experience alone, it's like, you released this so early on into this beta, and it is garbage compared to other emulators. Like, I understand it's in beta, but at the same time, I'm probably never going to touch this again. So, if it's still similar to how the beta was, I'm suspecting from everyone that's talking about how shit Google Play Games emulation is, I wouldn't be fucking surprised, because as we're talking about Google here, we're talking about emulation. You're gonna have to be a wizard and an expert for emulation. Especially with how certain games just still don't work for certain emulators. Like, DT Carnage still doesn't really have proper support for the PSX. The PS2 emulator is what I'm trying to get at. Even though it's been how many years and the second major version has been out, I hoped it works, but it still runs dog shit on it with a really powerful PC. Like, emulators need to be done right, and the wizardry that has to be dealt with to make it work. Yeah, I'm excited for there to actually being the native, legitimate PC version, because from my experience with playing Arknights on emulators, there's always some issue I come across. And the fact that the Google Play Games version of emulation is what I consider dog shit, and the worst of it should say a lot about people's blind expectations from certain companies. But aside from that, also how bad Google Play Games kind of is, as well as, like, I would say Apple would probably be in the same ballpark. Personally, I don't really feel like they are going to do the best job compared to people who know what they're doing. Compared to a company that only cares about making money. Anyway, The one I use right now has been LD9 Player. When the PC version comes out, I will likely delete LD9 Player, because I really do not use it aside from Arknights nowadays. I used to use it to farm on the side, and I'm like, I haven't really done that in a hot minute. The main general gist is that when it does come out, I will be using it. I'll be playing on that version, PC version. Hopefully it works somewhat better than the LD9 Player version emulator that I'm using right now. I would assume it would be. The only issue nowadays from the LD9 Player is the amount of intrusive ads and the side pop-ups that happen from like third-party companies that in tandem do stuff for Arknights that I don't give a fuck about. And I'm like, why does this always pop up and show up? I don't give a fuck. X button, full screen. That's just how I kind of been with LD9 Player nowadays. Because it used to be good until they decided to just shove a crap ton of shit at your face of ads, other games, and third parties. So I'm going to switch anyway to that, but I mean, there's also the fact that overall it's going to be better quality experience, and things would naturally run better than a mobile phone. I believe this PC is should be more powerful than my phone, but we'll see if that ends up being the case. I mean, granted, with how old Arknights is and when this was released versus the phone I have and the PC that I have, it should be able to run like OG Arknights really well, and then upping that from the settings that are available from what I understand of the PC version. It's going to be should be overall better quality. But it might not be as noticeable, or at least to me, it's not as easy to notice, aside from very specific scenarios. So it's going to be really interesting, because there is times when playing on the emulator that there ends up being lag spikes, because a lot of shit's going down, a lot of particle effects, and a lot of things that the game has to, like, think through. And there are times, like, even with certain events, I get some slowdown, because there's a lot of shit going down. Probably better than Endfield here at times, but then with Endfield, it's understandable because it's a 3D game. Even with it being very optimized, there are some times where if I use certain set of combo of enemies with certain set of operators that I use because of BD2, some shenanigans can happen. If you've actually noticed before, watched some of the Umbral Monument clears. Anyway, aside from Umber Monument, I mean, I think I already said it before, but if not, I will be finishing off the last remaining stages of the Mega Arena. I've already talked about it. And it's nothing new for Echoes of War, because I think that they changed it midway through. So it's like, I thought they're going to continuously do new stages and then rerun them, but then they kind of decided to just do some reruns and some new ones. And it's not at this point that just rerunning reeks. And so there's 2 stages that they have yet to do yet for Echoes of War, and the next season is supposed to be starting next week, from what it's talking about, which means you lose the rank that you currently have, and you have to get the rank back up. So that means getting at least beating Brutal, or at least getting the bonus challenge for Brutal for all stages, if you want to get the lustrous version. AKA the fancy version with particle effects. That doesn't really matter at the end of the day. Anyway, me roasting this game still. I don't know what I'll probably end up doing. I say that I'll probably finish off Mega Arena. Now, I have kind of been spoiled. Mega Arena and the newest Umber Monument stages have enemies that I have yet to face, because I haven't touched the story since the last patch, when I beat Nephrith, and then kind of just stopped, because I was just not really interested. I just kind of stopped caring too much, and I just really haven't touched the story since, because I just haven't had the interest to continue the story. But I have continuous interest doing Umber Monument, because that's the most fun I've had so far for Arknights Endfield. I still continue to enjoy doing it, especially on Agony mode with E2. Art's reaction, is it... oh, no, it's... okay, those two. So they're changing it. Okay, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, so that's something I'll say when it comes to the chosen style teams. They're shit. I'm just gonna be really honest, they're shit. There is no agony version. So to me, this is not really gonna help me out. But the fact that they choose those two makes me wonder if that's kind of the idea they had. It looks like both of them are Art's reaction. I feel like if it wasn't for the fact you can't use more than 2 operators, I would probably bring in Camille. But Camille is just, I don't have his essence still, even with me almost daily farming. I still don't have new essences to get 2 maxed out weapon essences, especially for Camille. Because people think essences are so easy to grab, and they're not! Yeah, it's been kind of a... it's been since CC, and I still don't have Camille's weapon essence. I don't really have much to say. If you saw my camera right now, you just see it disappointed. What the fuck's going on? So it's like, yes, in theory it's better, but in practice, you know, in my situation where it's just like kind of on par of the other styles of how farming goes in other games, it's just the way it is. I think my thought process is that with this, I don't think Gilberta's good. Unless they spawn in a lot of enemies that you need to group together, my thought process, given the fact that at least only 2 enemies, and I don't know how the enemy spawns are, and the fact that Gilberta wouldn't be good for some of them because they're mostly single target damage you want, Gilberta's not going to be great. Like, in this scenario where it's mostly all characters that you can crowd control, getting under 3 minutes for E2 is definitely doable. But this, on the other hand, given the fact that these guys are I know this one isn't, and I'm assuming this one isn't either, it's probably going to be like a weird combination of like maybe 2 different waves of Nidworms with certain enemies, and then finally Skydrummer. I don't know, I haven't touched it yet, so I don't know. But my thought process is...
I do not intend to wait any longer.
I did use Camille at one point. I think I will continue to use Tang Tang. But I'm thinking I could either use Wolfguard or I could use Perlica. There really isn't any other that I could probably use that would actually be nice to use. There really isn't a character that really likes him. There kind of is, but kind of isn't in this account. So, I mean, if I went for Arcane, maybe, but then again, I've already talked about how I feel like Arcane wouldn't really be good in this account, especially because I feel like she'd actually be worse than Gilberta in my thought process. Elements of reaction, so, I mean, I could go with Camille, but he doesn't do a lot of damage to warrant. I need some. I feel like Tang Tang into Wolfguard would probably be my best bet. I could try to do Camille, but we'll see how this team goes. We could do Rossi as another option, just because it's another DPS character. There's options, but because you're limited to 2 characters, the buff's not going to really help me out too much. It's going to be relying on pure DPS. $23. Okay, so in this scenario, I feel like, yeah, maybe Gilberta would work. Maybe. forgot that they also lower attack.
My turn. Step down. Make it quick.
Rising the time. It's my turn.
On it.
This is my turn.
I am getting hit a lot here. That's, I guess, there's like a lot that's going on.
Alagora.
I'm getting a lot of skills, but I feel like, because of how this stage is, I think Rossi might be better because of the damage output. But I want to be able to get any elements of reaction going.
Finish with the time.
Make it quick.
Rising the time. It's my turn. Now show up. Oh, much better.
I gotta remember how this attack
None
is
shall
back.
live.
Okay, that is an actor. Whatever. I can see where maybe Gibraltar could be nice, but I feel like you would need to pot her to make it actually work really well. Because that would mean more range with her skill. Which would work because of how the spawning is for those flowers.
Are we setting off now?
Personally, it works, especially if I do multiple skills with Ting Ting and then pop his skill. So that the combustion is a higher level, which means more damage over time. I'm not going to be doing so much damage that I'll get under 3 minutes.
Step down. Out of my way. Knock them loose. On it. Great teamwork. Out of my way. On it. Step down. On it. None shall live. Knock them loose. On it.
Under 3 minutes is probably not going to happen given this is like 5 enemies. And we're like taking like almost 2 minutes probably just to take out one midworm.
Out of my way. My turn. On it. Great teamwork.
Okay. The biggest biggest issue is trying to dodge. What's going on?
Rising the tide. This is my turn. Down.
Wait!
That's annoying.
Finish with the tide.
On it!
Trying to avoid the amount of damage I'm taking, but I need to fuck you over.
Who's faster?
Nothing look. On it!
I feel like, yeah, Wolfguard's probably going to be really good in this stage, but I hate that I'm getting hit still.
Much better. Yup.
It's really fucking easy to get in.
On it!
This is my turn.
Wait!
Rising the tide.
Nice moves. On it! Wait!
There.
Got to be sight.
I'll try to get out of there and dodge.
Nothing look. On it!
Good shit. There's a lot of shit going on screen. Just trying to make sure I don't die horrendously.
On it! Allagora!
Rising the tide.
Wait! Nothing look. Step down! Wait!
Okay.
My turn. Step down! My turn. My turn. Step down!
I'm gonna have to probably do that just to try to kill the enemy.
Nothing look.
I did not get another stack? What the hell, game?
Wolves, let's feast.
That hit me? Oh, goodness
On
gracious.
it.
What the whiff was that?
Push it. Great teamwork.
That shows you, like, how little experience I have with the Sky Drummer.
On it. On it.
I got hit from that still? Okay. Wait, did I not stun him? Like, honestly, letting him do that is actually probably a good idea. Oh, goodness. Like, I get, like, heavy Kingdom Hearts being dropped distance, like, healing from this music. It's so
Step down.
Carnival carnival feel to it. What the what the fuck going on the screen? Beating this may be a different story, but then again, we're not taking so much damage, I have to be careful. But then again, this is like not compared to infinite amount of skill moves. If you have not watched any of the previous Upper Monument stage plays. Okay, that.
Nice move. On it.
Much better.
Careful now. Don't push it.
Let's
feast.
The skill. These do stun damage. Yeah, that's probably like the worst one so far, and that's me trying to use it with the buffs. I don't know how well Rossi would handle it. But I'm not going to worry about it. I know I'm not going to get under 3 minutes, so... And then again, it's not one of the stages, but still. It's like, as a showcase of strength. There's a good chance I'll probably get absolutely destroyed in this one. And I don't know if Gilberto would really work in this scenario. I don't know. The issue with Gilberta is how long her skill lasts. Because most of the skills are usually just instant, but with hers, obviously it takes time, and you have to get that skill at the end of the pretty much the explosion has to hit to be able to do any infliction. And because of that, a lot of the time riffs, it doesn't hit. So that's why it's like, Gilberta's good if she can crowd control. If she can't crowd control, it's just dog shit. And that's where Arcane tends to be bad. And I feel like Arcane would be better in that scenario. Interesting decision. With all the water. Like it's flooding. This enemy is going to be insane. This is probably like the worst enemy by itself. Also, what is with Chinese companies doing monkey enemies after a certain point for the Chinese games? No, seriously. I didn't even see the thing. Oh, cycling that. Oh. Oops.
Nice move.
What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? At least it's not infinite.
Step down.
What determines them getting stunned?
No.
Let's just use you off the bat, mate. What? Why am I still dead?
Step down.
I thought I could dodge that.
Step down.
Okay. I don't think I've really learned how that enemy works. Okay.
Are we setting off now?
I'm gonna switch over to Rossi and just see if straight DPS would end up being better. Like, sure, they work together and I can use her skill, but she doesn't really inflict fire or any element for the most part. So I don't think it's gonna really get a lot of SP, but on the other hand, it's another DPS focused character. So especially a single target, so I feel like there's that chance just, okay, a lag spike, another lag spike, another lag spike. Was it because Lightworks was done? By the way, I was rendering a video there. Fun fact, I was rendering a video there. So that probably is, maybe because that's, done. I might actually use Gilberta because of the enemy spam here. The damage output is... What the fuck? Rossi just completely ignored. be doing damage to this? Huh? I have no idea what the fuck that was about. Let's get back into it. How do you do in this scenario? Are you supposed to do elemental reactions, or what's going on? I don't really know. I don't understand. Nope. Freeze, sirs. What the fuck was that? How did I even get hit from that? Okay. This seems to be like the more difficult stages because of how tanky things are. I don't know the thought process. Unless they really were expecting you to... Oh, fuck. This guy back here is just watching everything go down. Smarter than the average quill piece. That's for damn sure. Probably do this. Maybe kill. now the big boy himself. What the fuck? Yeah, there seems to be some slowdown that occurs. Oh, what the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? I've never seen that before. Where the stagger damage attack actually just straight up gets canceled. That's a first. Oh yeah, there's definitely a slowdown that's going on. And I hate that I'm... He's going after Rossi, which is actually pretty damn cool. Getting even more limited, but we're focusing just on him now. What the fuck? I thought I'd like the fastest. Oh my god. Late attack! Oh my god. It's like all over the place. Okay, they need to tune that down. That's just hilarious more than anything else. But we're at that point. If we die, we die. That's fine. That's actually really fine. I got, okay, that was it. Okay, that's a good showcase where I was trying to do something, but then I got put in the air because of the actual model, which is a little fun fact. The model of enemies can push you up into the air, so then you start to do your, like, ground attack. Wait, do I have infinite, healing pots? Okay. Oh goodness, I am literally just getting combo wombo. I'm trying to do damage here. This is probably definitely the longest we've been with a stage. better damage showcase there, even if it's not really a lot. Oh god, I am not used to this attack. I don't know. I mean, I feel like I probably would do better, at least for most of the side enemies not really fucking me over as much with Gabberta. But again, Gabberta would definitely lose a lot of hits there, with a lot of more hits than any other character. Uh, it's just the way Gabberta's skill works. It doesn't move. It would be kind of cool if it doesn't move. Like, okay, if it doesn't move, but then it does move. If the enemy doesn't crowd control. So it continues to move with the enemy to then do something. Also, I guess I did like new. I know there's like I know I briefly looked at upper monument stages, and I know that's kind of like a mechanic where you want to get slid for SP. Anyway, that we'll get to that upper monument when we get to it, agony mode, or I think it's normal mode as well. I don't know how agony mode is because I haven't touched it yet. But overall, as I already said, like I don't really think it's better. The buff doesn't really do much for you. I wish that it'd be kind of nice if any stage was under 3 minutes, they would get the trim medal. But no, they focused on specific stages, and the biggest fuck you is the Chosen Team still level 60 on max mode, so it kind of defeats the purpose when people are using level 90 teams and getting under 3 minutes probably really easy, I'm assuming. Just because I'm based off what I can do versus a max level team can do. Yeah, I feel like they'd be able to easily destroy these enemies with ease in a real quick time. But overall, for E2, this is kind of like an event. It's interesting to an extent, but then falls flat when the buffs aren't really like that strong. It's just making you do skills more, and that's just kind of it for the buff. That's it in general. And I just don't think that really works, even in a maxed out team. I don't understand the thought process. Like, this is definitely them trying out stuff, and to me, it's like, on paper is interesting, but the execution is flawed. That's what I would say. The buffs don't really matter. There's kind of like no purpose to doing it too. You just had it with 4. Like, I get it, they're trying to limit you what you could do, but it kind of falls flat when you're trying to give so many buffs instead of trying to focus on specific enemies and make it so that a specific set of operator teams. But then that would just mean they're just doing what other gacha games do for certain events, where they buff certain teams or certain elements. And they're trying not to do that, especially with the Chosen Team. But the Chosen Team is also flawed as well, because it's shit and doesn't work for max mode. And even then, it's even worse, because it's somehow worse than an E2 team, which is pretty much what it is. But it's somehow, they made it worse than what T2 team can. In terms of a new player, sure, it's interesting that you can use characters you don't have. But the strength of these characters are so dog shit that for the event that you use them on, you're better off using whatever operators you normally do. And that's just general gist, okay? I get the idea of what they're trying to go here, but from what I've seen, from what I played, that's what I think. Again, I'm gonna say I have the trim medal, even if I don't, because yes, I technically did in under 3 minutes. And I feel like the first stage, unironically, is what they should have been going for, not whatever this was. Because this actually makes sense, especially when you use characters, for example.
This is my chance to show
It's not
what I'm
actually going
made
to show what I used, but Tang Tang and Gabirta. Easy under 3 minutes. Because it just works. Because every single fucking enemy in this is crowd controllable. And that's kind of the general gist. It's like, this stage is the Gabirta stage. Not Inmin and Chin stage. You see what I'm getting at? Like, this is actually the stage for Gabirta. Second stage, I probably would actually make the argument that, yeah, it could work here. Especially if the enemy spawned in more minions, it would work out, but that's not how this stage works. But there's enough side enemies, and them kind of being a little annoying enough, that I can see the Gabirta team working, or a Gabirta-esque other character working for it, but that's like the second most likely stage to use Gabirta. And that's saying a lot for the other stages that suggest using Gabirta. Well, that one doesn't use Gabirta, but the other one here. I don't think it works for this team at all. Okay. Granted. This is take consideration, of course, E2. E4, you'd be bitch slapping this event like it's a fucking nothing. This event is worthless in the eyes of someone with a max team. The max team not even talked about as a whaled team. Those are two different fucking things. You understand? If you don't understand, just look what teams are for max CC from the first CC, and realize that they have maxed weapons and maxed potted characters, and then hopefully you understand the difference in strength of a whale team versus a built team. Anyway, Umber Monument. Also, the last 2 weeks here have been like fucking easy, free weeklies, by the way. They just have you try to do Umber Monuments and the Mega Rage events. They have us talk to them. I'm not gonna worry about fucking talking to them. Also, I pretty much have enough to get the next 6-star guaranteed. By the way, I do have 120 pulls. You might say, but that's like 80. What the fuck is talking about, man? I could grab a crap ton more from the Arsenal Exchange, which also actually, do I have enough here? No, 4. I can grab more from the Crota Exchange, and I could grab as many tickets as I want. At this point, how many tickets do I can grab? It says 44. So yeah, like guaranteed at least a 6-star. I say that. Would it be guaranteed a 6-star 120? Math, I believe it's 60,000 gives you guaranteed. Unless I'm somehow mistaken, because that's like 12-10 pulls. I keep doubting myself when I think about it, but it's like that's how math works. That's what it is, 60,000. And I already have, like, essentially 20,000 plus here in terms of bond quota that I haven't touched. Which says a lot. And, by the way, I barely touched the game since Neferith, and I still have to finish Valley 4. And just look how much I have right now. Right now, I could easily get myself Arcane, if I wanted to. And, you know, there is a part of me that's like, you know, that wouldn't be such a bad idea. But I really haven't seen her enough in the story. And the other thing that she's really winning in is she's hot. That's it. And I already said it before when it comes to her, like, I don't see her being that well for an E2. Just because you have to build her a certain way. And, like, a lot of that is tiered around 5-star equipment. So it's like, I would have to do, like, a suboptimal 4-star gear, just going based off a certain route of her kits. That's not going to do well at all anyway, because I'm E2. So, it's just overall, Arcane is actually not that great if you don't have her maxed out. To me, that's what I think. I still think that. And then, of course, next character, Lilino, goes in the dumpster can. I'm gonna keep this in that character. Like, it's a character that's not bad, sure. She's gonna be good for casual play, but, like, aside from that, you could just... she's not really that great. Like, she would have been a nice replacement instead of, Shahi in, like, that one Umber Monument stage, the title Grief. I probably would have had an easier time in the title Grief. But, I mean, I've already beaten it, spoiler, I guess, and I like the clear a lot. It's probably going to be the most insane clear, aside from the max risk CC clears, just because of how insane that stage is on lower rarity. I seriously suggest watching that video. And if you haven't done it yourself, without, you know, just doing E2s only, you start to realize really quickly, with the lack of damage you do, that you're going to leak enemies, which means you're going to guarantee 1/3 of your HP down the drain. And when you realize that there's multiple back-to-back that will happen, you start to figure out how the fuck are you going to deal with that, and then you start to realize that certain defenders actually don't work because it's not considered being hit by an enemy, so you're even more screwed of trying to heal yourself up. But I found a way. Again, I strongly suggest checking that out. Again, I mean, I don't know how obvious it is on how insane that clear is, but to me, it's probably the most insane clear you will probably ever see.